Okay, we're recording. Hello, Marina. How you doing?
Hello, Scott. I am well. How are you?
I am good, and we're here today to do an Akashic reading for all the fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
And if people haven't noticed you before, you have a YouTube channel, Heart
Uh,
Centered Tarot,
hmm
giving out information for our lovely people and sharing your love and light.
I try. I do my best.
We all try. We all
Yeah,
try to spread love and spread knowledge and hopefully comfort people. And
exactly.
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and if anyone hasn't subscribed, subscribe to Heart Centered Tarot Arena.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, I do. Most of what I do on Heart Center Tarot is the political current events kind of things. And every once in a while, I will open it up to personal questions and kind of, do personal questions. Um, I like the idea of giving information, sharing information, and um, letting people know that even when things look bleak, there's always opportunity. There's always opportunity for growth, for whatever. So sometimes the things that come at us that might sound and appear like they're awful, um, in retrospect, and sometimes with the passage of time, we can see where it wasn't really bad. It was an opportunity, and
Definitely.
it was, those are the times that spirit steps in and says, okay, we're going in this direction, right? And that's usually when those major things
Yeah.
happen. I also like to encourage, upcoming readers, people who are wanting um, to learn tarot, to learn intuitive reading. I think it's wonderful, and I do that on a regular basis. And I also have recently opened up my channel to a very lovely man called John, who he's a tarot reader, but he's also an astrologer. And I would actually say he's more of an astrologer tarot reader, you know.
Hmm.
So we have started to do weekly collaborations, which is learning all about astrology and delving into individual signs and whatnot. And
That
I
the is that the man from Hawaii?
no, no. Um, his channel is called Masalia Tarot,
Okay.
and yeah, he's up here in Canada. He's in
Oh,
Calgary, same place. Yeah, same place
cool.
I am. But oh boy, does he knows astrology so well, and he has got the kind of personality that can explain astrology in such a way that it is not it doesn't get into too much, like the shop talk, right, where people who know um, it, any segment of work out there. After you've done it for a while, you kind of develop your own language, right? And so an astrologer talking to another astrologer will use words that people like me wouldn't know. And John has a really good way of explaining um, what the different modalities are, what the different connections are, and so on. So anyway, every
Yeah.
Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time on my channel, and we did Aries and Taurus, and this coming Wednesday we're going to do Gemini. And the comments have been really good. That the people have said, "No, yeah, what you said about Aries, yeah, that was me." So yeah, they've
All right,
been good.
lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Okay.
let's get rolling here.
Woo-hoo.
How many? Okay, I'm gonna go Earth lives because we could have lives going back millions of years. Another planet as a plant, an amoeba, whatever. But
Yep.
when has your soul been planted on Earth starting? They're showing me 33,000. I'm seeing a 33,000. That is an old soul. You've been around the block a little bit.
Yeah,
How
let's
many
try.
how many Earth lives? They're showing me 211.
Okay.
So there's been either breaks or you've been hopping around the galaxy a few times with that
Mm-hmm.
many lives. Generally, I sensed like if you're continually earthbound, I've sensed always an average around 100 years. Like you'd have a 50-year life, a little break, and then you come back 11 years. Or you'd have a long life of 90 years, but it always seems to average, if you're earthbound spirit, about 100 years. If there's breaks,
Mm-hmm.
then either
Yep.
you spend a lot of time in spirit guiding or have had other earthly planets. So we'll see where that leads.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. Male and female. How many male and female? You feel female dominant. Being shown 120 female, and that would put approximately 90 some male. So you feel more female dominant here. Um, that 211. What do we have for gifted ones? They're showing about 15. So meaning you were connected to spirit in a way to raise vibrations, bring knowledge through guides and angels. So basically, your average day psychic. There's been 15 times I'm seeing that you were psychically connected.
Mm-hmm.
About 55 of them, you had spiritual awareness. And basically that's meaning you believe. You believe in a source, and then you have approximately 140 that you were just an average Joe going through life learning.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got to have both ends of the spectrum, right? You
Right.
can't you can't learn anything if you're always connected.
Exactly.
So, is anything else here with those? Okay. So now I want to see if I can capture who's guiding you and your Akashic angels. So for me personally, I see two guides with every person, and I think they're the Akashic guides, your Akashic guides, because they know everything about you. They're like splits of the God source or one source that are always with you. They're not necessarily guiding you. They
Mm-hmm.
kind of make you who you are, and that gives your senses of your free will and your destiny in your contract. It's like they know your contract, right?
Yeah.
And they will push you in a way to fulfill your contract.
Right.
So that's what I've always been sensed and shown. Some may disagree, but this is what I see. So who? Since they're just energy spirits that hold knowledge, they're technically not physical forms, but to me, they present themselves as either a female or male dominant.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, to you, they would look however you want them to be.
Right.
In your own life, what you're drawn to. Like I've said it before, like mine kind of looked like two of the Charlie's Angels because I grew up watching that show. So
Yeah.
one like Farrah Fawcett, one looks like Kate Jackson. This is the way they present themselves to me, which I think is cute, but that's the way they
Okay.
present it. So,
Yeah. Oh, Scott, just give me a second. I've got a light coming in at me
okay.
from that. I just need to close the blind.
Yep. Um,
Okay, sorry about that. It was starting to
that's
really
fine.
get.
Yeah, I didn't want to
Okay.
touch anything. I've never tried to pause because
Oh,
I had the end broadcast. I didn't want to do that.
yeah.
Might be on the bottom. I'd be able to pause, but I don't. I didn't want to touch anything. I haven't figured out this. But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Um, so I was getting more female, but some reason they're they're showing me two male and more male energies. It just doesn't really mean much, but
hmm
they're showing me more male energies. It could bring more um, male dominant characteristics per se
hmm
overall. It doesn't really
Yeah.
matter. But they're showing me two. Who okay? Who else is with you right now? There is another male entity. Not hasn't been a living soul. Um, they're giving me reference of like the energy of kind of like Archangel Michael, that kind of
hmm
energy. Because it kind of showed me like the art angelic wings and the power that Michael brings in.
hmm
Um, he's assisting you with your psychic type journey. There's more room to grow. There's more things to do yet in that journey. Just be patient. Um, now there's a female too. Maybe this may be a relative, a long lost relative you don't never met. Um, it feels like dad's side, like a grandma, great great grandmother figure, but
hmm
she's coming in your dreams, um, and assisting your dreams. You may not remember them all, but okay, because we were talking earlier about dream work and also traveling before we got on. I
Yeah.
think this is the angelic family, connected person that's assisting in that energy transference while you're astral traveling. This other Michael type angelic, that's the one that's helping you raise your vibrations and to connect more. So you're still on that journey. This may be still taking maybe 5 more years because they don't want to overload you because they're showing me like a circuit breaker or a power plant. If you put too much energy, it's going to explode.
Yeah.
That's what he's showing me. But these are the ones that I'm being shown guided. But it feels like a great great grandmother on your, did I say dad's? Yeah, dad's side, I think.
Yeah. Dad's side.
Um, that's her purpose now. It's not. I think she's just going to be a guide now. She's graduated. I'm feeling about 1600s, the last time she was alive. So if you have a family tree, you can maybe look up. Um, So I asked you earlier. You said your family came from Yugoslavia. It's somewhere in that area,
Hmm.
but I'm not sure which country. But it's close.
Close
It,
to there.
it,
So
it
it could
feels
be Hungary,
it feels
Poland.
more east, like a country or two east, just a little bit. Is Yugoslavia right next to Russia, or is it?
It's very close. Um, the former Yugoslavia is, if you think of where Italy is,
Hmm.
okay, so there's Italy, there's the Adriatic Ocean, then you've got the former Yugoslavia, okay, which is I think Croatia, Slovenia, Slovakia. It goes down, and then there's other countries, Hungary, Poland, and so on. And then you go this way towards Russia. So
So
it's
yeah,
not that far.
yeah, it feels like it may be Hungary or Slovakia.
Mhm.
It's a country. Like I said, I'm being shown it's a country east yet,
Yeah.
where
Okay.
where she may have lived.
Okay.
Um, Trying to think of names that might pop up. Oh, it feels a little bit longer, but it may be like Olina or Olin, something longer. I think it starts with an O. Ox- Oksana or something longer, but it feels like it
Uh-huh.
starts with an O. Those names are difficult, but anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Let me throw this out at you, Scott, and tell me, Apollonia.
uh, there is an L in there. I am sensing an L. Apollonia. That could be, but it feels longer than like four letters, like
Yeah. Yeah.
Alina or Lena or Olina. It feels
Yeah.
a little bit longer. So that could very
Yeah.
well could be. But you should be able to find this ancestor. And that's why I'm sensing who's there. Okay.
Hmm.
So I think we got that going on. So
Hmm.
33,000 years. Definitely Lemurian energy, but I'm sensing lower. Um, Meaning like closer to the South Pole where most of it started. So we're talking, I sense it's like above or even part of Australia. So I'm feeling lower area there, that landmass is where it started. Pretty basic. Um, it's like a tribe of 50,000 people or so originally planted. Um, your basic scenario of just learning fire and agriculture and everything like that. So
Hmm.
there's so many fires and small huts. Um, the normal stories you would see of like spear hunting and whatnot,
Right.
because they're learning, just learning to
Yeah.
live. Um, this, there was some soul movement northwest, and later years. Oh, let's see how many in the Lemurian years. I'm getting approximately 10 Lemurian years or lifetimes. I mean,
Okay.
but there's I haven't seen this before, but life later on when Lemuria was still advancing. Technology got better and lives became longer. So, like at first, the average lifespan was under 30 years.
Hmm.
It's like procreating, having more children, but there was troubles with like diseases and um, animals too. There was being shown there
Hmm.
was like actually aggressive animals. Weird. So that whole experiment of life there, that technology started getting better. Um, he actually may have been a doctor here later on using certain herbs to help,
Hmm.
kind of like your ancient vitamins.
Yeah.
um, kind of being shown like crushing herbs, not encapsulating, but it's like you may have helped create, different herbal drinks and stuff
Yeah.
later on. Um, yeah, there's actually so like they actually started building homes because I never
Hmm.
got this deep into Lemuria actually. Because it's always kind of hard to see what happened way back when.
Yeah, exactly.
So not like today's modern day homes. It's kind of like I don't know. Some reason they're showing me 60s, but they were built pretty good too, even earlier. But it feels rudimentary, more
Yeah.
so. More like log homes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very,
because I don't
very
know.
basic.
They're not showing me, like sawmills and everything like that being. Um,
No, it's more of, vegetation, uh, things like that. That whatever um, was to hand at the moment, because the idea was to, um, yeah, build an enclosure um, that would shelter from, the wind, the rain,
right.
uh, the animals. So it was, yeah, very, very rudimentary, and whatever could, like okay, what I'm seeing is, um, like an outline of a hut that would be made, with like fallen branches that still had leaves on them, and you could, kind of intertwine. Um, but yeah, very,
Right.
very rudimentary. Yeah, there was no 1.5 bath
No,
location.
no,
Yeah.
no, I'm not seeing that. Um, but um, they did have boats, kind of like canoes made out of big tree lumber. I am seeing boats, like canoe types where they would fish and travel a little bit. Nothing, like I said, I don't see any manufacturing, you know, of the sorts today to make big ships or
Yeah.
whatnot. But like I said, I just think it was just a simple life. They were were rituals, like um,
Hmm.
they call them angels, but I think it was our ET friends,
Yeah.
our space brothers, helping them out.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I am seeing rituals. Um, they uh, they feared the volcanoes. So I'm seeing volcanoes, so like
Hmm.
almost like volcano worshiping,
Yeah.
because it was like this is like a low level fascination of. how Earth worked with something exploding or something bubbling, that kind of thing. But there was
Yeah.
guidance, but it's just such a slow. I just keep saying that it's such a slow development. Unlike Earth now, we went from having cell phones in '95, and now we have a computer in our hands. Not 20 years. We're talking
Yeah.
thousands of years. It's a slow development.
Yeah.
Um, okay, yeah. So I'm only seeing about 10, but there's something about they did live a lot longer later. When we're talking, 10,000 years. But there's
Hmm.
a long, long, like unusually long. We're pushing 150 years. So like the technology is there with the Earth. Everything was actually more pure. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Everything's more
Absolutely.
pure. There's no chemicals. There was no.
Yeah.
It's like a pure society. But I mean, like anything, there was the negative souls. I sensed that before, but it's like the negative souls may have been offered to the volcano feeling. It's like if you're
Mm.
not going to be part of the heart centered society, you're cast away kind of feeling. Kind of like their kind of justice, what I'm sensing here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm seeing you came back. Okay. I'm seeing the overlap of Atlanteans. And they're telling me you went to Atlantis for a while and then came back towards the end of Lemuria. So you had about 5 lives I'm seeing in Atlantean, where you grew quite a bit as a soul.
Okay.
Um, and I'm getting this again that it was another experiment. So we had this Lemurians where we have slow growth and like okay we're gonna it's like our extraterrestrial space brothers tried a different society here with some help.
Hmm.
And what did you do there? 5. Atlantis was actually more technology advanced than here.
Hmm.
It was very very quick. Um, from helping those from other worlds here. What did you do? At least one life, I think you were involved in manipulating DNA. Some being shown like a scientific development, and then creating different kind of humans. That I'm being shown like embryos, and then
Mm.
like prodding with needles and whatnot. That was
Mm.
that was one of the lives. Um,
Would that have been a positive experience
um,
or not necessarily?
it was part of the course of trying. Um, even though that I mean I'm being told this is part of how current humans became involved, the different
Okay.
genomes that different people around the planet
Yeah.
have. So it did lead to better things. It there was also um, tests of animals. Um, Many got discarded. Feels like this was part of wow. Now I'm being told when they didn't really the reason for the short lives I'm getting in Lemuria is because of digestion problems. We couldn't um, we couldn't
Synthesize the plants or
right. It's like when we started, it's like there wasn't quite the yeah. So our bodies couldn't
okay.
function like we're supposed to, like we do today. Like so,
Yeah.
this kind of the part of creating animals too on this planet to serve for us, and a little bit of DNA change. It's kind of weird. Now I'm being shown that Atlanteans actually drank more of a protein shake kind of diet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it would have been easier to digest, um, until you know how to process grains and different things,
Right.
right? It would be, yeah, try this, see how it works.
It feels like,
Sometimes,
but yeah, there was something about then there were, to get to where we are now to adjust
yeah.
our DNA to, eat protein and eat meat
Mm-hmm.
and different things, but it feels like it was more leafy stuff and then actual like almost protein drinks using herbs
Yeah.
and um,
Yep.
pure water and whatnot. I'm not seeing any animals that until later.
Okay.
Let's see anything else there. The other ones I'm just showing you were, just a worker, helper, raised a family, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, but it feels like you had the last life there. You seen where it was going, or you had a premonition that the Atlantean experiment was going to end. That's why I sense maybe you came back as a soul to Lemuria, but it
Mhm.
ended up ending there too,
Mhm.
obviously. Um, okay, where'd you go from there? This is after. Hmm, there was a break there. There's a couple thousand-year break there between coming back to the planet after that. There's a nearby system. I have no clue what planet, but it's not too far away.
Mhm.
Yeah, you had to take a break because our planet wasn't inhabitable until So this must be the time of the Great Flood that everyone talks about,
Yep.
where the planet needed to get back into rest, which took a long time. You're, it feels more earthly stuff, like your soul was just energetically part of a planet more so than um, an entity, a living
Hmm.
entity. Most of the time, there was a few, two. Like I said, this planet doesn't feel far away. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's Pleiades or anything like that, but it feels like it's in the near Pleiades. But I'm not really seeing anything miraculous that would give you
Yeah.
any insight. But it feels more like you could have been part of a a glacier or plant life,
Hmm.
anything with energy.
Yeah.
It just feels like you were getting connected to,
Like a charging station,
yeah,
a recharging station.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what it feels like. Charges the
Yeah.
soul.
Yeah.
Okay. So then when you came back to Earth, when was, when was that? I'm saying about 8,000 BC is when this is happening now, when he came back. Show me like the middle of Africa. Um, that was one of the first um, continents to be safe to inhabit. Just
Hmm.
starting over again, it's like right in the middle. It feels like I don't know what country it is. Um, it was kind of a tough start because I'm not seeing a lot of water, so
Hmm.
there's a lot of travel for water and inhabitants. It feels like you made your way down south. There was more water, lakes, um, kind of like above South Africa, whatever country. Seems like he stayed in the middle there about that
Hmm.
time. Okay. They just show me that's where you started. I mean, there's no revelations there. It's just part of where you went. Okay. Move up. Move out of there. Where we need to go. They're not showing me anything like with the ancient Mesopotamia and those things. They seem to be more in the Middle East here for the
Hmm.
next few lives. Like Saudi, like Saudi Arabia area and those places there. Maybe we're gonna get in something better. I don't know yet because nothing feels fantastic here yet.
Yeah.
You're just kind of showing a path, I think. Because it's been kind of quiet here. Okay, so now we're coming up on what years? So now we're going probably 3000 BC. Um, I think you may have been part of the Incan civilization.
Hmm.
I think you jumped over to where the Incans were.
Yeah.
I'm showing. I think you were kind of like a. You were a female.
Hmm.
I think you were connected to um, the angelic space brothers, the space family. Um, it kind of looks Native American because I'm seeing like it's almost like a wand. Like how
Hmm.
you have feathers on top of a wand. It looks like there's a crystal on top, but there's also feathers. It's almost like you're using crystals to, like call in spirits. It has to probably has to do with death rituals too, and funerals type stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think you were there for 4 to 5 lives there, but the biggest one you had was, kind of like an Incan priestess per se.
Yeah.
You had great power. That was one of your connected years, definitely. Um, I think you were a builder. You worked pretty hard. Some kind of builder there too. Um, what's going on? Those are some good times. There's
Hmm.
no wars. There's no battles. It's like harmonious society. I think you left before it was wiped out.
Hmm.
Where'd you go? I'm not being shown anything in ancient Egypt, but I'm seeing you connected to um, the Roman Empire.
Hmm.
Like after the
Yep.
fall of the Egyptian pharaohs. I think you had a few there where you were like a warrior, like a part of the military type
Hmm.
for the Roman rule. Because I tried to sense Egypt and it just shows me a blank. All the pharaohs
Nothing.
from before. So it seems like you went there, but then over to Europe.
Yep.
Um, is there? I wonder if there's a, a Roman rule with the L, like Leviticus or something like that. I can't remember them all, but something with an L name, or maybe that
Hmm.
was your name or something. But
Yeah. 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 There was. Oh, and
I guess
it,
the name doesn't matter too much. Something you can look back, but
yeah,
there's something about an L name. It was one of the dominant years there.
yeah,
Um,
like Lucius or yeah,
Something like that. Yeah.
yeah.
Just make a note and look back. But
Mhm.
that's the dominant one I'm seeing, sensing. Um, okay, let's go. Do you have any sense of? I'm being shown like a winemaker, an ancient winemaker in France. They're
Hmm.
showing me wine and booze.
Okay.
This is, gosh, when was this? This was a long time ago, maybe 2,000 years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, that I'm being shown a winemaker.
Well, I do like wine.
You know, something about that. I don't know. It's basically that they were showing something about wine because they just show me the wine and the glass and
Mm-hmm.
uh, but it's not too far from you know well Italy and France are relatively close, right? So
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it feels pretty close to
Yeah.
there, yeah, not
Yeah.
too far. So it feels like you stayed in that area
Yeah.
from there to there. But then we just go to a lot of dominance in where your ancestry is from. You said Yugoslavia,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because everything just flows up to that way.
Yeah.
Um, they're showing me you were a warrior quite a few times,
Hmm. All
meaning
right.
soldier.
Yeah.
A lot of your male lives there were fighting. Yeah, they're telling me your male lives you were a fighter, your female lives you were a lover and connected. It kind of feels.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that whole area you just kind of bounced around a little bit. There was trades between. It wasn't always that way. It was like we wanted to get away from that, but it was just the. It feels like the time, the need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When did that start? Yeah, it just feels like maybe 1,000 or so BC, and then coming through that time frame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would make sense because historically at that time, you went where the money was, right? You went where the food was. You
Mhm.
went where you could survive. So, um, yeah, going from Italy to Germany, or to through the mountains, you go into Belgium, France, England. Yeah, it would have, and the the soldier would have made sense because at that point in history, there was a lot of smaller kingdoms that were sort of fighting for dominance.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, soldiers were very much in demand and they were very well paid. So, um, and soldiers could, like their families could travel with them because sometimes if they're gone for 10, 15 years, right?
Right.
So, um, yeah, and that would make sense historically with the way that sort of the migration went, right? And then yeah, as a soldier, you reach a certain age, you decide, okay, I like this region, I'm going to settle here. Um, so yeah, you know what, it feels right. What you're saying just absolutely feels like, yeah, like I want to sit here and go, uh-huh, yeah, uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it just
yeah,
feels like that, I'm not sensing your soul having anything to do with um like England and the Scandinavia or anything like that. It
mhm,
feels like you skipped the pharaohs of Egypt and the pyramids. But there's many connected times with our with spirit, with our space family. Yeah,
mhm,
there's many. Um, I don't sense anything, like Asian, meaning China area, and
mhm,
um, but yeah, there's a heavy connection, mostly to um, I would say Southern Australia. There's quite a bit down there,
mhm,
and then middle of Africa, then heavy concentration in the Incan civilization, like Central America, even northern South America.
mhm,
The Roman Empire, numerous years there, then some in France area there, and then where you heavily dominated in Poland, Yugoslavia, Slovenia,
mhm,
those areas there. So like I said, about 15 times you were help people and others.
mhm,
One definitely in the Incan civilization area. A few actually. Um, one in Lemuria, probably it feels like one in Atlantis. Um, but up in the Poland area and whatnot, let's get into that maybe. It feels like you had two warrior lives, soldier lives, and then you had a gypsy life kind of feeling
mhm. Yeah,
where you needed a break from all this chaos and just being a soldier.
yeah,
Um, Usually, I'm not sensing family. Those it's like you're devoted to the king or whoever's
mhm,
there. It feels like your soul popped around a little there. You'd help people, then you'd fight. You help people, then you fight, kind of feeling. Um, that's I don't know. If you got any other questions and want me to delve into, that's about all I can sense.
you know, um, there's a lot of what you were saying, and I didn't want to interrupt you because I didn't want to interrupt the flow, but yeah, there. a lot of what you were saying was just bang on. And it's kind of weird in a way that when you mentioned the one ancestor, um, and you were talking about dad's side, and what was weird is um, I had a dream last night about my grandmother, but on my mother's side, and um, I have not dreamt of her in years and years and years. And in the dream last night, yeah, she was helping me as I was dealing with some people. And I know that um, my my dad's mother, my other grandmother, was there as well. And I was looking at them both, trying to figure out, like, what are you guys doing here? Like, I don't see you for 20, 30 years, and all of a sudden, boom, you're here together. So that was very interesting.
It was
And
kind
the
of weird. I almost want that makes sense because I almost wanted to say something about your mother's grandmother, but
mhm,
then this other grandma I mentioned first from the
yep,
1600s kind of stepped in because I was about ready to say something about that, but
yep,
then I'm like, it kind of got shut
yeah,
off.
yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
now you got to go
yeah,
here.
yeah, which is what they do, right? It's like, so yeah, I totally get
that
it.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
And when I asked you, when you were talking about, like, the O name, or the Olina, or something longer than that, and I said Apollonia. Um, Apollonia was my grandmother on my mother's side. That was her name.
Okay.
And she was, I think, she was originally from, I, th- I think, Hungary. I want to say Hungary. And that would have been something, it would have been a name that would have been sort of
Hmm.
passed. So yeah, going back generations in there, yeah, it made sense. Um, and I do very much feel my ancestors around me. Particularly, they're one of my aunts that passed away. Um, I think about 8 or 9 years ago. Um, she was very psychically tuned in. She was a Reiki master, and
Oh wow.
yeah, she had lots of people that would come to her for treatment and so on and so forth. Um, and you know, when you travel in soul families, it sometimes it's not unusual that things repeat. So yeah, there she was, very connected. Um, I have a younger sister who is a tarot reader, very psychically connected. So it. I think, yeah, the past lifetimes where I
There's a
have,
yeah, there's a lot of female
yeah,
energy gifted ones. Yeah, I was sensing that.
yeah, yeah. So it kind of it feels natural, right? It feels like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And when you were talking about the, sort of initially in the lower part of Lemuria, uh, and the worshiping of the volcano, um, again, made total sense. And um, I mean, they didn't know what made the volcano explode,
Yeah.
right? It did. Like, it's not like he could say, "Oh well, I see the clouds forming and this happens," and then such. It just happened. So yeah, there was a lot of effort that went into keeping things so that the volcano doesn't act up or do anything, and a lot of that transferred um, into the Incan um,
Oh, sure,
lifetime,
sure.
right? Where again you've got worship of the volcano and so on, and the volatility, the not knowing, and when the first time that I made a trip to Mexico, and that was a good number of years ago. Um, we were in. We started off in Mexico City, and then went to Cancun. And again, very well. We were in Mexico City. We went up north to um, to Guanajuato, and then from there to anyway that whole region. Um, Felt a deep connection to that. When we got back to Mexico City, we went to see the pyramids outside of Mexico City, the Teotihuacan.
Yeah.
So I get in there and I'm walking up the pyramid of the moon, and again the connection was like visceral, like I could absolutely feel it. So I thought, well, yeah, it's exciting trip and whatnot. We left. A few years later we went back to Mexico, and again start off in Mexico City, and then went to Acapulco. That journey didn't really feel anything, like there was no connection there. We go back to the pyramids, and as we're walking around this time, I climb the pyramid of the sun. I get up to the top, and I start to cry because I know that I've been there. I know what I did. I know what I had to do. And I knew that I absolutely had to change my whole life. Like, so I did. Absolutely changed my life at that point. Yeah, I came back home. I was living in Nova Scotia at the time. Um, yeah, ended my marriage, which was not. Um, it just wasn't conducive anymore to to my own growth. Um, and yeah, moved across country, went back to university, got more into the spiritual end of things, which I had done before when I was younger, but I sort of had it, shamed out of me a little bit, right? Where yeah, when people would say, and especially my ex, when he'd say, "Oh, be careful, she's a witch," and um, I kind of took it to heart, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Now that I'm a little more connected, now it would be like, "Oh, be careful, she's a witch." Damn right I am. Watch your so. But I knew when I was on top of that pyramid, um, that yeah, there was a profound connection. And shortly after we got back, and I'm trying to remember how it was sort of connected. But anyway, um, one of the people that um, from the Mayan civilization there, or the whatever was at the in Teotihuacan at the time, um, yeah, there was the legend of Donna Marina, and I thought, oh f, because the chances of there being someone involved with the priesthood and with what was going on at the time, um, way back when, being called Marina, and here I am called Marina, standing on top of where she would have been. And there are some things that you can say are coincidence, and then there's something that you could say, yeah, no,
Yeah,
no.
pretty much.
Yeah. So yeah,
So like
very,
I
very,
believe that, like I was saying earlier, with even in my own life, where you've been, where you vacationed, where you feel at
yeah,
home, we've had a life there, or where you
absolutely.
move. I traveled many places when I was in the service. If I wouldn't have
Mm-hmm.
been in the service, I would never had those experiences.
Yep.
So I've been to Korea, briefly Japan, Philippines, Panama,
Mm,
um, bunch of places around the states,
yep.
but in Florida, northern Florida, in the Panhandle. I was stationed there mostly.
Yep.
Um, I traveled. I think these cruises. I went on a bunch of cruises and stuff, but I don't think it was. I think it was just vacation. I don't sense anything magical for me down in the Bahama Islands and whatnot. Went to Cancun once. It was nice. It didn't feel historic to me because we just stayed in the
Yep.
resort and had fun.
Yep.
Um, let's see. Spent a week in Ireland and a week in Odessa, Ukraine. Those
Mm,
felt lovely. I totally felt at home in Ireland.
yeah.
Um, my next adventure I'm drawn to go to is Costa Rica. So February
Yeah.
of 2024, I want to plan a week vacation in Costa Rica and see all those ancient sites there and explore and enjoy that. So that's
Hmm.
my next goal I want to see and feel.
You know, I think Costa Rica. I believe that it's in Costa Rica. A friend of mine has a property there um, that they lease out or whatever. I'll have to
Mm.
get some details from you and put you in touch with him in case you're looking for a home base to kind of go from. Because I think he's a block away from the ocean.
Oh yeah,
Something in this, yeah, in
I
small town.
found this.
Anyway.
I don't know what I found was I found a remote type of resort. It's like off the
Oh
beaten
no.
path, and it's almost in the jungle, but
Mm,
it looked magical. And it's like you fly in, and then you almost need a 2 hour bus ride to get there.
yeah.
And then, but it's also close to a lot of ancient sites too, which I was interested
Yeah.
in. So it depends
Yeah.
where it is. If it is,
Yeah.
cool.
Well.
But
Yeah.
we'll see. But you can send me the info. I definitely look and check it out.
Mm,
But like I said,
absolutely.
I'm not planning that for 15 months yet.
Yeah.
Because we try to do a vacation every 2 years at least.
Yeah.
And that's my plan and goal.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, as
There's.
far as interplanetary life, I feel like you're more planetary grounded rather than extraterrestrial adventures.
Hmm.
It just most of its senses always,
Yeah.
like grounded more so than flying.
Yeah.
Um,
And oh, you mentioned builder. Um, and yes, that was one of the things that had come up previously was um, yes, when I was in the Mexico, Yucatan, wherever that area.
right.
Um, yes, I had gone there as a builder. I was planning the streets and basically the city that I was in.
Well,
So yeah, you'd I
if
wrote that down.
that's what it feels like. Your male souls have always been hardworking.
Yeah.
Either a soldier fighting, raising a family, a builder, you know,
Yeah.
all those kind of things. They're just very hunter gatherer, all those kind of
Hmm.
things. Like, and the feminine side always seems to be delicate, um, scientific,
Yeah.
spiritual,
Yeah.
psychic, priestesses. What we say before? Um,
Yeah.
we
Yeah. Gypsy. Ancient,
gypsy, yeah,
ancient
gypsy,
Egyptian. Yeah.
those kind of
Gypsy.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very,
And that.
very connected on that side. So you had those two
Mhm.
elements. For myself, I've sensed both. You
Yep.
know, I've been female into it, been male into it.
Mhm.
I've worked hard. I've had military service.
Yep.
Uh, I've sensed a lot of war type soldier things in Poland area and whatnot too.
Hmm. Yep.
So
Absolutely.
since we became friends here, maybe we fought in the same battles, but over there.
Who knows? Anything is possible. Nothing happens by chance, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why since I got out of the service is because I may have died in battle numerous times, and there could have been a fear of that.
Yeah.
So per se, I would have been. Let's see. So generally, all our lives, we've always. Most people seem to have a tower moment in their 30s.
Hmm.
Life challenges. We have kids,
Yep.
or things get harder. I got divorced in my 30s, and
Me
there's
too.
seems to be a theme in the 30s where if you can escape those 30s, you're good to go.
Yeah.
And when I did my past life regressions, I died as a soldier in my 30s,
Mhm.
right? So it seems like something most of us need to escape and figure out. If we can get past those times,
Yeah.
you're good. But it always happens for a reason. We got our contract to get through, but I've seen many soldiering types in sense that so in this life, if I would have stayed in, I would have been in my 30s when the Afghanistan war started.
Hmm. Yeah. Good choice.
So I got divorced instead of been in Afghanistan. So I probably would have been in the heat of that.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
And that would have been 2004 or so. And I would have still been in the service at that time because I would have been, I don't know, 4 or 5 years before retirement probably.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I honestly do believe, yeah, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens exactly when and how it is supposed to. Sometimes we can see what it is right away. Sometimes we have to wait before we can see what it is. But there's always rhyme or reason. And you can't have good without the bad. Um,
Mhm.
because you can't identify the good if you haven't seen the bad. So, that would it sits very well with me that, yeah, here you spend some time being a soldier. Okay, here you spend some time being a healer, right?
Mhm.
Um, would you be able to have one without the other? Probably not. So, the kind of back and forth, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And
Deeply.
yeah, and to know that we are guided. We just need to have faith, in that we are guided, that we are being looked after, and whatever is happening for ultimately for everyone's good. And just be a good person. Go out there, do good. You
Yeah.
know, and
That's
yeah,
that's what our goal is. That
yeah,
everyone just does good. Love other souls.
exactly. Yeah,
And if those other souls aren't part of our journey, if we just can't make it work, find
yeah,
your path. I want my soul family.
exactly. Yeah,
That makes things a lot easier when you're not butting heads with another soul that doesn't vibe with you,
Exactly.
and it just brings you down. And you want to be up. We want to
Yeah.
be in
Exactly.
line, be in our family.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we can't love that soul from afar.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. There is no
But if you can't
there.
get along in your own environment, what's the point? It's just going to drag you down. But
Yeah.
but I understand it hurts
Mm-hmm.
when it's family or a
Yep.
son or even a mother that you
Yep.
can't get along with, but you're going to be much better off. And then you can use spirit,
Exactly.
send them love through spirit and have the angels give that messages
Mm-hmm.
to them. I
Yep.
want you back in my life. I want you a better person, or I want you healed,
Yeah.
whatever it may be.
Yeah. Exactly. You are on your path. I wish you nothing but joy and happiness along your path. If it coincides with mine, bonus. If it doesn't, I still send you away with light and love and wish you well on your path. Right? We don't have to
Yep,
take
yep.
anything negative with us. Just let it go. And yeah, if you concentrate, well, I should rephrase that and say I. If I concentrate on doing everything in my power to make sure that you are successful, I cannot but succeed. So,
Beautiful.
yeah, do everything in your power to help someone else succeed. Raise them up. It feels good.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions you can think of or want to chat about while we're here?
No, no, you know what? That was kind of the big ones. I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at and do a little bit of research, look at some of these. There's uh, yeah, parts of the family ancestry. I really can't go back because of course with Yugoslavia having been a communist country before it kind of broke apart.
Right.
Uh, yeah, records they weren't always kept, and
Oh,
when
sure.
there were times when en masse they were destroyed. So yeah, I had one of my aunts was trying to do in Croatia was trying to do a little bit of research about the families, and like one generation back, not very much information there. So, but
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, thankfully, my grandfather kept records,
mm,
and his grandfather kept records, or the family, mother, whatever. So
yeah,
I have stuff going back to about 1600,
nice,
1500, mostly
nice,
on my dad's side. They
yeah,
had because before that we don't know where they came from, but everything was from Switzerland on my dad's side.
yeah,
When the wars started and everyone wanted a peaceful
yeah,
society in the 1400s, 1500s in Switzerland, they all moved there, became
yeah,
farmers, right? So
yeah,
generations of farmers, and so I have a list going back, you know, to
nice.
there. On my mom's side, it's a little more sketchy. Nothing really popping in too much. I still got to go through some stuff that my aunt gave me. She entrusted me with the ancestry.
Nice.
She's
Okay,
like,
well,
well, I might as well pass it on. None of my kids want this stuff. I'm like, here you go. Here's everything I have about the Anderson side. So,
exactly. And you know what? They may not be interested in it now, but at some point they will be. And won't it be wonderful to have that information there for them to say,
yeah,
here you go.
eventually, I need to go through it all. I want to try to put it all
Mhm.
together in
Yeah.
a spread or whatever for everyone to have. Mainly my generation and cousins below. They may be
Hmm.
interested in having that info or where they came from or whatnot. But
Yeah, because
everything,
it's always
everything,
nice to know.
yeah. But everything through the last 600 years of my dad's side is all pretty stationary. Switzerland to southern Wisconsin. That's about it.
Great
They
travelers.
scattered around. A few moved out to California or Oregon, but that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the funny thing is, 5 miles away, they settled. So back in Switzerland, they have Glarus. They found this area in southern Wisconsin that looked identical to the terrain of Glarus and named it New Glarus.
New Glarus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 5 miles away is where my great great grandfather started the farming
Hmm.
here in southern Wisconsin. So as far as that goes, that's pretty simple. Switzerland to southern Wisconsin, pretty
There you
much.
go.
The family expanded. So I got all over. My great great grandfather had 7 kids, so that got expanded quite a bit there.
Yep.
But
That'll
my
do.
great granddad only had 3. My grandfather had 2, so didn't get spread out as much. But a couple
Yeah.
generations back, yeah, they're all over.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, it's lovely. That that is just amazing. I would love to know more. So, I can live in my imagination and I can tell myself that I know that there is a small country in Europe that is missing its queen. I am here. So, yeah, that's what I like to tell folks is I know they're going to call me any minute. They're going to say, "Come on back. We got all this jewelry. We got the house."
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah,
All
that's
right, we're gonna close out the
absolutely.
recording here, and love and light to you, and keep doing what you're
Absolutely.
doing, spreading your light.
And thank you so much for having me. This is wonderful. This is a lot of learning, a lot of things I'm going to go look up now.
Cool. All right, have a blessed day.
You too.